the thing is, I've never seen somebody come back. Well, let's take that back. There's a couple guys. There's one guy right now we're having a struggle with. Like, he's just going down a fucking rabbit hole of, oh, well, there's this, well, there's that, and there's this. It's like, have you even shot the barrel yet? Well, no. All right, shoot the damn barrel. I mean, shoot it, and then like next to the point, and I'm to the point. I'm like, here's a thing back. When we get it back, I'm gonna send you a refund check because I'm done dealing with it. You haven't even shot it yet, so you don't even know what this barrel is capable of because you haven't like even tried to shoot it. And everybody that does shoot them are like, okay, these things rock. We have had one come back recently, and it was wow. It's a barrel company that a lot of people really like. I'm not going to say it because some of this might get stolen, but um, recently their stuff's been bad. We've had to send a bunch of them back, and they're one of the top barrel makers in the country, in the world,
Yeah.
probably. And we've had a bunch of them come back lately. I don't know what the heck's going on, but that seems to happen when everybody goes through big growth spurts too, as they're trying to hold on to their QC too, which is hard. But then I have to deal with it, and then it has to go from me. We check it, then it has to go back to them, and they have to check it. And 95% of the time, like, well, it doesn't shoot, so I'm stuck selling them and getting them a new barrel. But it is what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's fine. Most of them shoot 95%. We try to catch everything before we even spin it up, but some things you just can't catch.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Sometimes
air
it's just a bad
gauge
barrel.
yeah. A lot of them have been having. I don't know. We can talk about this. Um, a lot of them have had um like where they lap in different things where it has like it goes down and it gets a little bit bigger and it comes back. So what's happening is instead of sealing, like the bullet coming down the barrel seals, it's
Yeah.
going out around and it's losing the pressure and it's making the bullet do weird things. And then no matter what you do with the crown, a lot of times it's like an inch, 2 inches back in from the crown, and sometimes it's right in the middle of the barrel. But it's a lot of times it's in a space that you can't measure without air gauges and stuff, and you just figure the barrel company, that's their job. They know
So
how to do
I kind of think that's what was going on with that 16-inch Seekins barrel on that gas gun that I've been having problems
that.
with that I finally fixed, because you take a bore scope down it and you can clear. And I so I cleaned it with Tech, and then I did the JB paste,
Mhm.
and then cleaned it out with JB paste. That sucker is clean, right? But there was clearly areas that had less deposits than others, like even
Mhm.
after all that cleaning. So it's like, and then the ratchet marks too, from the reamer, like it you could see it was there, then not there, and then there. It's just like, okay, I think this barrel was like legit. The bore, hole was just not correct.
Mhm.
So
And a lot of that comes into the way they lap it and then heat treat. And a lot of times, what people don't realize is you have to turn down the barrel and then re-lap it 95% of the time. And a lot of people won't do that. They'll just turn it, especially in an AR barrel, they'll turn it down to their diameters of 750 or 900 or whatever it is and hit, where your mark is for your gas system. But then they don't re-lap it, and that's how they get cheaper barrels because they don't double lap them. And they have to be like, we've gone through the process of like, okay, we're gonna get a barrel in and then we're gonna turn it down and
mhm.
then what, test it and then lap it and then kind of go through. But it has to be because you start messing with stress, you start measuring,
Yeah,
messing with all the different things going on with it. And a lot of people don't realize that they send a barrel out. The other big one is when they send it out for fluting. It gets fluted and then no one laps it and then it shoots like ass. And
yeah,
the original Seekins had that problem big time where they'd flute a barrel and then they'd just shoot horrible because they didn't relap them because of the stresses and everything. And they figured it out, after the first little while. Like I said, everybody has that first little
yeah.
time of, oh shit, we got to get our stuff figured out. But yeah, it kind of came back and they got that stuff figured out. But yeah, I mean, I get a lot of calls of people calling us like, hey, we need our stuff looted. And we're like, well, let's take a step back and let's talk through the process of fluting. I would rather order it fluted
Yeah.
from the company so that they can do it and then bring it in. But so many people are like, well, I just got a barrel because I'm in such a hurry, and that seems to be the start of everybody's pain in the ass problem. Is I was in a hurry, and sometimes you just can't be in a rush for great things. I mean, that's like
Well,
I
you're in a
call it.
hurry, so you failed the plan.
Right. I call it the Amazon effect. Everybody seems to have it. A lot of people in the industry are starting to steal that that wording, but it is. Everybody's used to going on to Amazon. They
Yeah.
click 2 day shipping and they get it in 2 days. That
Well,
if you're
in
going to
Vegas
buy a
we get
Christmas
same day,
rifle,
so
what?
I said in Vegas we have same day. So I mean, it's a little better.
Yeah, here in rural Utah, we might get it in the next week. I get that Prime, and they're like, "Oh, usually it's 2 days, but yours is going to be like 4 or 5." It's like, well, what am I paying for then? Well, you get
Yeah.
free shipping. I don't care. You told me 2 days.
Yeah. Prime 2 day
Yeah.
delivery. That's what's up. No, like there's a lot of stuff that we'll order that's same day because the warehouse is right up the road.
Right. Yeah, and the warehouse ships from there to Salt Lake because I see the
Mhm.
Prime trucks going back and forth all the time. They've got a good deal, man. We got to figure out how to do a Prime for shooting, so you don't have to wait so long. But anything good in life, you just got to wait for it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's what it
I'm with
is.
you. Well, it's just like AR barrels apparently. You gotta wait a long time.
And I can't remember what barrels they're using. I think they're Rock Creeks or something, and
That's what I heard.
they've been good barrels. But it's like anything. Every once in a while, you might get a bad one. You might get, and that's kind of where um, with ARs, it's kind of been one of those hit and miss things of super accurate ARs, and I think you have to kind of control everything with ARs because there's a lot more moving parts and there's more turned down in some spots than others, and the way
Yeah.
they connect together. And I mean that one AR barrel that I got looking into that a little bit more. That one we saw at shot that was the
The
solid
mono.
barrel, yeah. And but I didn't. It took me a minute to try and understand how they did the integral. What's the word I'm looking for? The integral the extension.
Extension? Yeah.
Yeah, because and then I listened to one of their podcasts they did or things they did with somebody, and it's an AR-10. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So they made it bigger so that their tooling could go in and do everything. So it's an AR-10 outside diameter bolt, but it's still your
Hmm.
standard AR-15 inside dimensions, which is cool. I mean, that's something that nobody really thinks about. And then they've got that cool little 45-degree gas block system.
I
That's
like that too. Yeah.
the only problem with that is then, if you're unsuppressed, I'd have to see how it all works, but how do you adjust your gas
Yeah, I'm
system?
not I'm not sure they're I don't know if they have a regulator. It's a piston. It was a piston system, I believe. So it probably has some sort of regulator on it at the short stroke piston.
Hmm.
Kind of
Yeah.
like the Adams Arms blocks are.
Yeah. And I love piston systems, man. If you're going to do an AR, don't do a gas system. Spend the money and do it, especially if you're going to suppress it. I mean, that's one of those big things that it's just take the time and build it right. The piston systems suppressed are so much cleaner to run.
Oh, 100%. I've still got a little 14 and a half suppressed Adams Arms piston upper that's just like crazy clean.
Yeah, so much nicer. You don't get all that gas back in your face when you're running full auto or whatever. I don't know if yours is full auto, but
No,
when you're running
definitely
full
not.
auto and everything else and getting all that, chewing on gas as you're shooting, your eyes are blinded because there's so much gas coming back in your face. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things that that's a whole nother deal, those ARs and how to play with pistons and stuff. But
Well, that's been my life for the last like month and a half is sorting out this dang 223.
oh yeah, we need to do let's do a short range on it. Now that we've kind of, I think this is a good little BS session because a lot of people bug me. They're like, "Man, just talk to us about what's going on lately." And I think we need to do some more of these. I was just at the Salt Lake show, saw a lot of good stuff. I mean, Salt Lake show is always kind of how it is, but it's more hunting
Right.
related, which I want to push a lot more into this year. Had a lot of good talks. Talked with the guys at Born Primitive. Man, they got a solid setup. We're going to try and work with them this year and for their shooting gear and their outdoor gear and everything else. And they're all SEALs that started it, and there's a couple good friends that I know now um, that I've shot with and different things, and they're coming in to support it, and they're building clothing that they're like, man, we couldn't get this type of clothing, and this is what we wanted. We wanted to be more maneuverable. We wanted this in this place, like in the knee section. And they've kind of made it cool. And I sat down and kind of talked with him. He wants to come on the podcast here pretty soon and just kind of BS and talk about the direction they're going and, the transition they've made from the SEAL teams over to, you know, And that seems to be one of the big things lately is, I mean, me and you are both, well, I'm out now, you're still in, but military, and how many of these veteran run organizations are out, and a lot of them are getting bad publicity because it's just like anything. Some veterans are awesome and others aren't, but
Yeah.
it seems like more and more of them are coming out, and then more and more like veteran hunts for hunting with disabled veterans and all that. Man, they're coming out all over the freaking place. I think there's more of them this year at the show than there was clothing companies, which is something to say for, because there's a
Yeah.
clothing company on the corner of every aisle.
Yeah. Someone's trying to sell some soft goods.
Yeah.
Always.
Have you looked at the Born Primitive stuff?
No, I haven't.
You need to. It's good shit.
Yeah, the whole Sig Cross thing kind of turned me off.
They shoot SIGs?
I'm
Well,
pretty sure.
the military shoots SIGs. The military shoots a lot of SIGs. And that's just because somebody in the military has a. I don't know, I better not go down that path, but somebody might be
No,
calling.
you know what the funny thing is, like I do have good friends that work for Sig, so like I do enjoy their pistols a lot.
Oh yeah, that X5 and oof, they got some good. The P365s, that
I carry a
X5,
365.
the X5 Legion's probably one of my favorite pistols to shoot right now. I mean, it's no
Yeah.
staccato, but it's a freaking badass pistol. And yeah, that's a whole nother the pistol side of things. But yeah, I worked with Phil Strader, so Phil is their director of pistols for SIG, and I worked with him at Remington Defense. Phil was over Rem Defense for a long time, and now he's over there creating badass pistols and doing their kind of stuff. But man, SIG's done great stuff. The MCX is a badass little rifle. The
Oh,
Rattlers
those
are
are awesome. The
rifles.
Rattler's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, they've got some good stuff. And guess what? They're selling a lot of the freaking SIG crosses. I mean,
Oh,
they're
I know.
selling tons of them. We've done a lot of barrels for them at Straight Jacket, so it's I don't know.
So
The thing is,
that's the best part about them is they automatically need to be fixed.
that's why we just started selling an upgrade kit, so they didn't have to go buy it and then send it to us and spend more money. They can buy it right from us. And
So I
it
actually
comes
had a
out.
good conversation years back with Andy Hawkins of Hawkins Precision about kind of that. He said, if all these companies did it right from the start, I wouldn't have any business. I'm like, yeah, man, 100%.
And that's hard though. But it's amazing how many of these companies go to like these random ass people for their inspiration. And I sit and scratch my head. I'm like, there's all these people out there shooting matches and doing all this, and you don't go talk to them, of how to just skip the process.
Yeah.
It does. It's job security for me. I mean, Christensen Arms kept our lights on for a long time, replacing barrels and stuff. But
Yeah.
it's just how it is. But those big companies, they try to do the least. They've got to have, they've got to make money selling their product, but they buy so much of it, they get it at such a cheap price, and then they
Hmm.
put it out. But I don't know. Seems like the race to the bottom lately anymore. Anyway, it's just been kind of a shit show within the industry of all these companies coming out with new stuff. And the thing that bugs me, like at Shot, I see these companies come out. Oh, this is our new action, or this is our new thing. We developed it. I'm like, listen, dude, I know who developed that action. I know who developed that freaking product, and it's not you. You just paid them a bunch of money to say it was yours.
Yeah.
Like,
And put your logo
just
on it. Yeah. I can
just
think
be
of
honest.
one booth off the top of my head where they were telling us that it was their action. It was clearly Curtis was making their actions. It's like, come on, man. Like, I'm not stupid. I've shot a number of them. Like, I know what this feel is, which is
Yeah,
kind of ridiculous. Yeah.
didn't start with blacking into the rain, did it?
Yeah, actually. Funny how you knew that. Funny how that, like, even through the
Oh,
screen here, everything connected.
I got a story for you about that later. I'll tell you. There's a story, and it's gonna blow your mind of how many iterations and who did what with those. And it's yeah, there's a lot of stuff in this industry that is hidden, and a lot of people know about it, but they just don't say anything. They
Oh, I
just
know.
it's like how many a lot. I got hit up the other day, like, hey, does so and so make their own actions? And I'm like, no, they don't. Somebody else makes them.
Yeah.
They're like, seriously? And I'm like, yeah, that for some reason they just try to tell everybody that they make it, but they don't. There's only a
Yeah,
few companies that actually make their
yeah.
actions, you know?
Well, firearms in general.
Mhm,
So that's one of the nice little. So what I learned years back was a lot of companies they just sell machine runtime. Like that's what they sell.
mhm.
So like it's very few manufacturers of things. So yeah, some company needs a run of something made, they send them the specs and they turn them out. 1911's notorious for this. Notorious because there's a couple of big manufacturers that you never even heard of these names. One of them happens to be in Georgia, makes frames for all the large manufacturers. You'd never know it, but yeah, sure, it's a Springfield or a Colt or whatever it is, right? And you're just
Mhm.
like, okay, wow, that's got it. And people just don't know that. Well, I bought the Springfield. It's better than this one. Well, it's like the same parts,
The
same
Prodigy?
manufacturer.
Is that what you mean? That new
Yeah,
Prodigy, that's built by, well, I better not say. I might get in trouble. I don't know how people haven't caught on to it yet, though. Who builds what?
I
Uh,
don't know either, or they just don't care. I mean, so people started catching on years back with the ARs and the different maker stamps
mhm.
in the uppers. They started catching on to that, and then people started mapping it, and then everyone's kind of like, who cares? They're all the same. So I mean, these pistols and stuff are kind of the same way. And then there's some large manufacturers that outsource their polymer frames too from a company that knows nothing, whose primary source of income is tampon applicators.
Mm,
Like that's how they make their money.
mhm.
And they just happen to do contract because like you're buying runtime of whatever machine or product it is. Like people who do plastics do plastics. I need something made of plastics. So you go to a plastics manufacturer. Duh. You don't tool it yourself.
Yeah, and there's like, let's take for instance the Glock slides. There's 3 or 4 big manufacturers that I know of that sell their stuff, and I know the company that builds all of them because I've
Yeah.
walked by them like, "Wait, isn't that so and so slide?" And they're like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, shh, don't tell anybody." "Isn't that so and so slide?" "Yeah, shh, don't tell anybody."
Hmm.
But I mean, at the end of the day, you're getting a quality product, but you're paying for the name in a lot of in situations,
Well,
and
you know this one, bullet and ammunition manufacturers.
mm,
Yeah,
mhm.
I've seen it. I've seen it firsthand. You tour enough ammunition factories, you're like, isn't that? And they're like, yeah, so we make to their specification. I'm like, no, yeah, make your money.
As long as it shoots. But
Yeah,
a lot of them don't make a lot of money doing it because there's not a whole lot of margin in that side of
no,
things, as there is manufacturing, and then the liability in ammo is gigantic. I mean, everybody wants to start being a custom load maker, and I'm like, yeah, you want to custom load ammo until somebody sues you, until somebody gets hurt, you accidentally load something wrong, they squib it, they blow something up, then they
or
come
it's
back
their
after you.
fault.
Yeah, and you've got to protect yourself. I've warned. There's been 3 or 4 people reach out to me lately. Hey, I'm going to do this. All right, let's really talk about if you really
Yeah,
want to do this or not. Because, well, I know so and so makes good money doing it. Yeah, but eventually it's probably going to come back to bite him in the butt because technically you have to have an FFL for it.
yep.
You have to have insurance for it. You have to have an LLC. You have to. All this stuff has to be set up before you legally can do ammo for a lot of people. And there's Clay's cartridge. I've heard a lot of good things about him. There's some people that do really good at loading, but some of these, I want to say, I worked with, and I've had to testify on a couple situations of people that were custom loading barn stuff because it was just crazy shit they were loading. But that's this crazy thing. The crazy thing in the hunting side is when you get wild one-off cartridges and you
Mm.
pull some numbers out of a book and try to load it. It gets a little
The
sketchy.
the big red flag people should look for is that 100 feet faster than factory loads. It's like,
Oh,
well,
sweet
hold
baby.
on. Like, well, hold on here. Like, how did you get those numbers? You're juicing the hell out of that cartridge. That rifle may not be able to take that. And man, that's pretty sketchy. And people are always, well, the reloading manuals are written by lawyers. Like, they're written on the safe side, yes, but that's for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we wrote them, but we had $100,000 piezoelectric pressure gauges that
Yeah,
measured all of it
yeah.
because we turned some of them up to 80, 90,000 psi,
Mhm.
100,000 psi, but it was in a it was in a giant test barrel that couldn't blow up, but then
Yeah.
we knew where the top end of everything was, and we backed it off a little bit.
Yeah, the pressure sensors don't lie. Like, it's just
No.
that's what it is. It's pressure in a projectile, and people forget about that. Like, that pressure has to go somewhere, and if it can't go there, it's got to go somewhere else. And pointed back at you is not the right way.
Right. Especially when you put it in, the thing I've seen a lot is at the end of a reamer's life, they get smaller and smaller and they get tighter and tighter. And if you get a rifle that's at the end of a
Mhm.
run of a reamer and everything's super tight and you're trying to juice the hell out of it, that's a big thing. I knew, Remington overran reamers like a mother. A lot of people did because they didn't really know where they should have stopped running that specific reamer and sent it back or got a new one. And there was a
Yeah,
lot of stuff. There was a lot of lead angles that were wrong. There was a lot of,
yeah,
and if you get a barrel like that, you're talking holy shit and a lot more pressure at that point.
yeah. Or any sort of deformities in the chamber or something. If those flutes aren't right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
100%. Yeah. Howa, when I was there, they did proof test everything. So one of the few manufacturers that actually did proof loads in every single barrel,
Hmm.
which is
That's
crazy.
cost. And a lot of people are like, why don't you do that? I'm like, do you realize how much that would cost
Well,
to?
proof ammo itself is expensive as hell.
Oh hell yeah, it is. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And if you don't know
Yep.
what proof ammo is, it's an ammo loaded to a max pressure. And usually when you shoot it, it'll blow the primer out. It'll slap the bolt face super hard, super sticky. Like, it's meant to stress it and make sure everything's okay. But they
Mm-hmm.
do that in a controlled environment. And then, my friends in the UK, they will tell you about proof houses. So every rifle that gets spun up by a private builder or a company or whatever, it gets proofed over a proof house, and it's a piece of legislation that they have. And every rifle is required to go through a proof house. And it's crazy to me, but whatever.
Yep, we had to get proof ammo to calibrate the brass and the ammo against so that we could sell, like 35 Whalen and all the
Yeah.
crazy stuff that goes overseas. That had to be done to proof standards. Now you've got two. You've got SAMI spec and you've got proof spec.
Hmm.
And proof spec overseas is completely different. They measure in joules, they measure in a bunch of different things. Then SAMI measures in. I mean, it's crazy. And then you have to recalibrate. I mean, we need to do a podcast with the guys at Barnes and stuff over this to kind of explain how it all works. But it'll blow your mind what goes into ammo testing and the amount of barrels that you have to go through.
Yeah.
When I was there, I had over 1,000 barrels. I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah.
And they were from test barrels to accuracy barrels to just rifles with barrels. We had to test through everything to make sure nothing was going to happen. And a lot of people out there rolling their own and then selling it to their buddies. They don't do that, and you see a lot of high pressure situations and people getting hurt. And then the other big one that I've seen lately is there's a company out there pushing big time on, hey, you can shoot 20-inch barrels and we can get the same velocity of a 24, and it's because they're mixing freaking powder. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
you're just asking for shit at that point.
Yeah. I have heard, and social media is the worst for this. Well, I want to get this burn rate. Someone mix this and this. Like, that's not how this works, man. Like, that is not how this works.
Put a little pistol powder in the old 308. You'll get it. You'll get some speeds out of her. That'll
Oh
get
my
her
God.
going. Shit'll shoot around corners at that point.
It just you only get one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You don't like your teeth where they're at or a bolt or
Mm.
something. The last time that I had a 22 Creed blow up my face, that was because it was chambered a little wrong. But I mean, that's just scares you. And then you get the flinch for a while. It takes a while to get rid of the flinch after you get the flinch. It's bad.
Yeah. Well,
Mixed
so
practice is good.
when I was there at Howa, the number one rifle that we'd have come back for not doing so well cartridge wise was 25-06. People want to juice up 25-06s like crazy, and
Mm.
I'm still not sold that chamber spec is correct.
Yeah, we do a lot of 25 creeds now, but I
Yeah,
don't think we've done a 25-06 in forever.
yeah, but the 25 Creed has a super long throat compared
Yeah.
to the old 06 cartridges, which had like nothing.
Yeah, and there's starting to be more bullet selections on the 25s. Or you had like 3 bullets you could shoot through a 25. It seemed like, you had the A frames and you had, I can't
Oh
even
yeah, Swifts, and then
remember.
yeah, Swift
Yes,
will make a bunch of
there wasn't a whole lot of choices in them. I mean, there's a couple companies coming out with them, and I think Unreal Hunters made a few of them popular again, because of power factor and everything, and trying to go through that. But I don't know. The 25 cal's just never been something that blew my skirt up. I really like sixes. They're
yeah.
fun
I have
cartridges.
no want to go down the 25 avenue. I just for the NRL Hunter stuff, I've been shooting 6.5 Creed, and it's
Easy.
just fine. It's just does just great. I
Mm,
but some people chase that and like, hey, I guess if you don't have one of those rifles set up for that and you start with 25 Creed, go for it. I don't need another cartridge, and I don't need another. I don't. I just don't. I feel like my life is never-ending low development now, and I'm just kind of getting over it.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it. It's easy to just call Hornady and say I need a case of ammo and get the whole
Mm,
case. It shoots really good, and you can't complain. And I mean, I shot 260 forever. Everybody was on the 6.5 Creed, and I refused to go down the 6.5 Creed train. I mean, I've got a couple of them now, but
yeah.
the 260 was I loved it. I mean, when I really started shooting PRS back in whenever it was a long time ago. But I shot a 260 and I freaking loved it. That was before all these sixes and all this other crap came out. But now I've got a GT and I freaking love it. Man, it just sits
Hmm.
there, recoil. Everybody's like, what caliber should I do? I'm like, just do a GT. It's easy and it shoots really
Yeah.
good. Every one that I've ever shot have just been freaking hammers. A lot of people like Dasher. A lot of people like, some of those others. But
Well, I shot 6x47 for years, and my
mm,
GT load is actually the same exact load as the 6x47s that I had.
mhm.
And the issue that I had with the 6x47 when I first started shooting it is I had the old spec for it, which was a super tight neck that you actually had a neck turn, and then the free bore was super short, so I had all sorts of issues. And then out of nowhere, after a few years, I started having donut issues like crazy, brass
Oh
donut,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it haunted me. And then I switched to the GT. It's the same load. I don't have brass issues. Like it just shoots. It's stupid consistent. I shoot those 109 ELDs or 110A tips around 2850, and it does everything I needed to do.
Yeah, that's why I don't shoot that 6XC. I'm like, it's sitting in the safe still. It
Yeah.
could shoot really well, but I don't want to mess with the issues. And it was one of those that was super popular for a minute, and then it just disappeared, off
Yep.
to the side. But the 47 was a good one. You shooting 4350 in your
Yep.
GT?
Hmm. Yep.
Mm,
I
That's
don't want to chase down Varget.
no. My
It's a little
4350 shoots fine.
no, and people can use Varget in GT, but that's one of the reasons I didn't go to the BR variants because I just didn't want to chase down Varget. I just
Mm,
and there for a while it was so hard to find that like I've still got like 16 pounds of Varget. I use for 223s and a bunch of the random stuff, but um, like I just don't want to chase it down, man. Like I just
The
can't
other
do
one
it.
The other one that always got me was they were trying to make a GT do something it wasn't supposed to do. I'm like, dude, GT loves like 2810 to 2880, and that's its
Yeah,
freaking spot. It just loves it right there.
yeah,
That is its sweet freaking spot. And if you try to push it faster, you should have just built something else because you're
yeah.
gonna get
Six
some
Creed or
weird stuff
something,
going on.
or
Yeah.
six by
So
47, something with a little bit more case capacity. Yeah, to push it harder, fine. Do that, but it's not. Yeah, it's not meant to do that. This is people. I had a couple friends back in Reno that were trying to push 6 BRAs to like 2930. I'm like, what are
mm,
you doing? That's a tiny little case. You're trying to juice this thing, and they get heavy bolt lift and everything. What are you doing? Well, it needs to be this fast. No, it doesn't. If it needs to be that fast, pick something else. Don't
Go
try
to
to.
a six creed or go, but we
Yeah,
need the speed for wind. No, how about you just understand your rifle
no.
and understand what your wind calls are? You'll be fine.
Yeah,
Trust me.
add a tenth, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, goodness gracious, we're not shooting 308s here. I don't shoot the velocity of smell or going
Yeah,
whatever it is. But that's always been one of my gripes. Quit trying to make a cartridge do something that's not designed to do. It's designed to do this. It's designed to be super accurate. super easy to load for. And I think the second load that I tried was the one I just stayed with. I mean, it shot so freaking good. It was shooting like 0.3s, 0.4s, and I'm like, that's better than I'm going to shoot because you add in all the stupid variables that I have, and it is what it is. And it was super easy to load for.
I answered a question on the Facebook group the other day. This guy was saying he needed help, and he couldn't get a particular bullet. Oh, it's DTACs. He couldn't get DTACs to shoot what he wanted, like accuracy wise. And he said, but the BC is this. I said, it doesn't matter. The BC is irrelevant at this point because you can't get this thing to shoot well.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that BC going to do for you? Like
Yeah.
if it's not consistent and it's not accurate, then the BC is like almost negated. It does not matter.
Right.
And
Right.
some people they chase those numbers on paper, and it's just like, hey man, like if you give somebody something consistent and accurate, they're gonna smoke you all day long. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I mean, a lot of guys are just shooting factory now, and then they're smoking you a factory ammo that's going slower, and it might not be as consistent as you hand loading, but they're still freaking consistent. I mean that PRC that I shoot, my big PRC, my like I build it for. I was gonna shoot NRL Hunter with it, but the thing's gigantic. I don't even know why the hell I did it. But that stupid thing with factory ammo is shooting, 1/4 inch with factory ammo and 1,000 yards. It's shooting, like 6 inch groups. It's just freaking phenomenal. It's like, why would you even mess with a stupid thing?
Yeah, my
I
6.5
don't.
PRC that I took to that Arizona Arrow Hunter match, like that, shooting 147s with H4831 in that PRC, and it's well under half inch, and it is so stinking consistent. And I slowed it down just for recoil's sake. So it was only like 28-20. I was pushing those 147s, which is nothing. People go like, "Why would you do that?" Well, the recoil was just like a nice little push, so it was super low pressure, and man, that thing just hammered, absolutely just hammered on target. So yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I think mine are 30-20, but it's also for hunting. I
Oh yeah,
wanted I wanted the energy out of it, but I don't know. We could go down a rabbit hole.
I've got an H1000 load that I use for hunting. Well, it's just like the 300 PRC. I have two different loads. I have an H30 or a 4831 load with 225 ELDs at like 2700, and then I have an H1000 load, which is more appropriate powder. That's like 2850.
Mhm.
So like, and the recoil is different, and also like it's just I have a bunch of 4831, so yeah, it's slower, but I don't know. You get a 225 cruising at 27 something. It hits everything really hard.
Yeah, yeah. That's in a 6.5 PRC.
No, that was the 300.
Oh, I was gonna say 225. I'm like, but yeah, that's my biggest issue is I've been shooting the factory ammo through 6.5 PRC, and I've shot a lot of animals with it. I mean,
Mhm.
we've shot probably 14, 15 animals now with factory, and it's killed them. But I just love dirt naps. I just love that one and done. It's dead. But there's none of them have just. I don't know. That's why I love my nozzler and my big stuff because I want to see it pick them up and slam them down and they're just dead. I don't like seeing animals suffer and everything. And we've talked about this on the podcast
Yeah.
before. That's one of those things that I don't know. I'm trying to fight with myself. I want to build Wyatt a gun that he can hold on to for a long time. And what is it? What is that magic rifle that I can build my kid that he can use for a long time, whether it be everything. And a lot of people ask me that question too, and I don't know. I'm afraid
I
it might lead me hand loading again.
yeah, I don't know. Right now, like my two hunting rifles are 6.5 PRC and then the 300. And I can pick up either and then kill what I need to kill with it. I have confidence in it. And those two rifles shoot amazing, so
Yeah, I don't know. My nozzler's killed some animals. Every one of my guns have killed it. The only one I haven't really shot's my 7 rim mag. It's brand new, and I haven't even shot it. I need to. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm kind of I don't know. I don't for a kid especially. What do you build them that doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, but kills stuff? But there's a little but in there. Something because you're gonna have to manage a little bit of recoil if you want it to hit hard with energy. But I just don't. A lot of people have been building, 708, 7 saw twos, anything in the 284
yeah.
family. 300 Psalms. I have a 300 short mag that shoots really well, but it might be kicking a little hard for him. I
That's
don't know.
that's a pretty swift pop on that one. That's snappy.
But man, they hit like the hammer of
Yeah.
Thor. Yeah, it's those. That's a fun little cartridge to shoot. I love it. And
Seven
then the
Psalm,
seven
Seven
Psalm.
Psalms, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's what I build him. I just send it to somebody and have them freaking do the load because I'm too lazy anymore. I don't know. That's
If
why,
I needed a 7, I would build a 7 Psalm for sure.
well, I already have it. I've got a 7 round mag. I've got a 28 nozzler. I've got a couple sevens. I refused to do sevens for so long, and then I'm like, you're just being stupid. Have a 7, be fine with it, and they've been great. I mean, the bullets are great. Now the 7 PRCs, everybody talks about it, but if you build one of those in a 22 or 20 inch, they're a little poppy.
Yeah.
Everybody's like trying to get the lightest thing. We were talking about this at the Hunt Expo yesterday, and we were all kind of laughing. They're like, dude, we got guys that are talking, oh, I can't shoot this because it's 4 ounces heavier. Just take the change out of your pocket. You'll be fine, type
Oh, I
thing.
know, it's
It's like,
ridiculous.
dude, you shoot one of those things that light of a rifle, you're going to call me back and wonder how you can put some weight in it because it's going to be freaking, it's going to be nasty to shoot. Well, I don't even know where a bullet hit. Well, it's because you didn't manage your recoil right. That's the big issue. You know what
And
I mean?
it's a 6-pound rifle.
Yeah. There was one we built for a guy a while back. It was sub 6 pounds.
Ugh.
When we sent it out, and I'm like, there's no freaking way. I wouldn't want to shoot that stupid thing. I mean, it
That's
just kicked
that's
the
that's
crap out of
rough.
you.
That's
Yeah.
really rough, man. Well, my 300 PRC is a MDT HNT, and it was a 300 PRC HS Precision fluted barreled action, and I think with a scope it was 10, and had a
Mm-hmm.
brake on it, decent brake on it, and yeah, put a bipod on it, and I don't know, it's not fun, but it's not terrible. At distance, I can still spot splash, but like 300 yards, forget it.
Yeah. That was one of the first podcasts we ever did with Scott Satterley, and he was like, dude, anything less than an 8.5 pound gun, he goes, don't even worry about it. You're not going to go out and practice with it because it's going to kick your teeth out.
Yep.
You're not going to go shoot it at the range and understand the rifle and everything. You're just going to shoot enough to get it on paper, and then you're
That's
going
it.
to be.
They put it right back in the
And
case.
yep, and that's not very fair to animals either because you don't know what it's doing at range, and you want to get something behind something that you could comfortably push 50 rounds down in a session and get your drop data, get everything out there, and true it up. But a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't think about that. That's a big one.
Yeah. No, I that 300 before I took it on my elk hunt, I shot the hell out of it. And then the 6.5 PRC, that same barrel that I have, I mean, I've used that for several integral hunter matches and killed a bunch of animals with it. I like shooting coyotes with it, suppressed. It's kind of fun. See a
Start
coyote
calling
way
you
off in the distance. Phew.
start calling you Nick Godarzi. That guy's
I
killing the
know.
shit out of them poor coyotes. I don't even see it coming, man.
Oh no, it's because he finds them bedded like a mile away and then drops a bomb on them.
I don't know
It's
how he
pretty.
does that. Like here in Utah, you can't find them anywhere because everybody there's a
No, and that's what I said too. Is like, how do you find so many that are just taking a nap, like out in the middle of nowhere? How do you? Maybe that's just how he looks for them and finds them. Like all the coyotes that I ever shot, I either called them in or it was dumb luck. I ran across them because they were running out in the field or something, right? But
Mhm.
I've never found any that were just bedded down taking a nap.
No, we got to figure. I told him a while back. I'm like, you're gonna come on the podcast. You're gonna talk to us about it. I'm not that interesting. I don't want to come. I'm like, bullshit. I'm gonna drive up there and make you be on it. And he just
He's
started
pretty.
laughing.
He's pretty interesting.
Yeah, Nick's a good dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
known him for quite a while, and he's just kind of one of those guys that likes to stay out of the spotlight. But he's a
Yeah. It
freaking
does.
phenomenal shooter.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it was just funny. So if you don't know Nick, obviously, if you don't shoot the competitive uh, area in the competitive areas, so Nick is a very accomplished competitive shooter in NRL, PRS, the local stuff. Like he's always at the top of everything he does, and he has a slew of different rifles, and he goes and finds coyotes and just drops bombs on them from a ridiculous distance and hits them, and then records it and posts it, and it's just like wow. And if you know how big coyotes are, they're not very big. So
No, no, and he called me a long time ago when he first started doing it. He goes, dude, I need a phone scope to record this shit with. And I'm like, dude, I'll send you one. I want to see how you do it. And yeah,
Yeah.
so all the stuff he's been posting lately has been through a phone scope, and it's just been crazy how how good it's been to just watch that trace and watch everything. And we need to do a
Oh,
podcast one of these days on. I've had a bunch of people ask me like, "Hey, I want this to attach to my scope, and I want this to attach to my binos, and this to attach to my spotter." And we need to talk about that one of these days. I know people have been bugging me about it.
yeah. I've had the setups, and I've been meaning to record more stuff at the matches, but I just when you're running matches, it's kind of hard to worry about that stuff. So,
Phil does it. The hell's wrong with
well, he's shooting matches and not really running matches, so big difference there. When you're just worried about yourself and not the 40 other people shooting with you,
you?
uh,
Yeah,
that's
I
and
guess.
no one's asking you questions about what you meant on a particular stage, or a
Mm,
problem. Their problem. Yeah,
yeah, you just need to go to other people's. Then you can do whatever you want.
yeah. I'll be in south of Hurricane Saturday, shooting a local PRS match. It's like 3.5 hour drive from here.
Oh, it's in St. George.
Below St. George. So it's actually you go to St. George and then you go south, and then it's like right on the Utah Arizona border down this dirt road for a while.
Who does that one?
A guy named Tanner Baldry.
Hmm.
Yeah,
One of
it's
these
pretty cool.
days I'll start
It is
shooting.
it's a gorgeous range. It's just a big piece of private property and just absolutely beautiful.
Hmm. One of these days I'll shoot a few matches again. We were talking about it the other day. We're like, dude, we build so many, but we get so sick of talking and looking at guns that we don't want to mess with it anymore. I'd rather go hunting. I love hunting too much.
Yeah,
I shot
I
for
feel
too
that.
long. I
I feel
love it.
that.
Expensive. So if you go shoot a bunch of matches, it kind of takes your hunting money away.
It does. Well, I talked to Clough about putting in for Arizona for Coos deer, and
Mm,
because now we're down here, I'd really
mhm.
like to do a Coos deer hunt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got a couple guys down there. We're trying to set up some stuff. We'll have to talk about it. I've got a good kid down there that's usually 1 or 2 points, and he can put you on some good coups. That
That's
one's a fun
cool.
one. That one's a fun one. That one's one I
I've
got to
never
get.
done it.
They call them
Nevada,
cows in the desert for a reason.
yeah. Well, Nevada mule deer, elk, antelope, and all the bird species that Nevada has, like that's pretty much what I've hunted. And
Hmm.
then California did ducks. But man, everything was out of Nevada, and then just a bunch of matches. So I know some people like their priorities hunting, and that's awesome. I wish I could take more time, but you get involved in these precision rifle matches and running them and traveling and stuff. You end up reallocating your time to that and not hunting. But I absolutely love hunting. I'm in love with it, and it's just nice to take a week off and go out and just do that and turn off the cell phone and just disconnect.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys that I started shooting with a long time ago, none of them, I don't see anything gun related on their stuff anymore. I mean, we shot nonstop forever with these guys, starting back in like 2010, 2011, 2012. That's when I started competitively shooting. And um, all these guys, they don't have anything to do with it anymore. They're done,
Karloff,
The turnover rates just it's they've gone and done something else now. And a lot of them just want to hunt. A lot of them just want to go do something else. And when you get families and you get kids and you get everything else, your priorities change big time with
yeah,
traveling as much as you do. So that's kind of been one of those things. The other funny thing we were laughing the other day is like, dude, when we were shooting all the time, remember all the freaking divorce rates? I'm like, yeah, because none of them were ever home. They were all out on the road shooting, so they all got divorced. So I'm like, yeah, I need to go. I need to not do this anymore. The divorce rate's a little high. Shooting a match or two every now and again is great, but I just like to
no,
hunt.
and it's great to get your skills sharp, especially for hunting.
Yeah,
Remind you of how a rifle works.
right. Um, Speaking of one of our sponsors, MDT, I was at the Hunt Expo and I saw the new chassis that you guys did for one of our other sponsors with FX and Utah Air Guns.
Oh yeah.
And dude, that freaking thing is sick. I need to get one. He's been bugging me. He's like, dude, let's go do some content. Let's go shoot these. And I'm like, all right. I keep telling everybody, okay, I just need to get this done and I'm going to be good and I'm going to have time to go do this and this. And then something else comes. And then I don't have any time. And then I'm like, okay, we just got to get this done. It's like the eternal freaking struggle I have. But this year we've got to put to aside some time to go do some of this stuff with these guys. So,
I just that FX, that new FX, I don't remember the name, the model is, but I don't understand how it works. Like it has like a magazine that's a plenum or something, and then the air reservoir, the tank is like around the barrel. I don't understand any of it, but it looks awesome, and I'm sure it shoots really well. But until I get one in my hands and I can shoot it, I mean, it's hard to wrap my head around.
yeah, and he's like, "Do you need one?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I need one, but I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I'm hardly shooting the FX that I've got." And I think it's like the Pantera, or I can't remember what it's called, but it's friggin' sick. I mean, it's badass, and air guns are just a whole nother level of fun. They're probably one of my new favorites. This one back here is the one I got for Wyatt. That
Yeah,
thing, that thing will put holes through freaking through wood. And he's gonna come on. I'm gonna drag his ass into my freaking booth, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk air guns one of these days because he's killing me right now.
what I need personally is like an air gun 101. Like that's what I need because
You
like
just need to get in your truck and drive up. We can just have an air gun 101 weekend and just go
I
shoot
guess, man, because I know zero. I've shot them. I don't understand them.
stuff.
And like, there's a couple guys that are local NRL 22 match that bring them, and I ask them a ton of questions, and they seem to shoot amazing. And one guy's shooting pellets and one guy's shooting slugs, and I had no idea there was a difference. I'm like, I don't
Mm.
know what you're talking about. With a slug, it looks like a pellet. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm like, what do you mean it's not? It looks the same. Like, no, it's heavier, it's bigger. I'm like, oh, and it flies better. I'm like, oh, okay. And he told me how much they cost. I'm like, oh, that's not any cheaper than the rimfire ammo at all. He's like, no, I got to get these from Czechoslovakia or something. I was like, or Czech Republic. I'm like, oh, crazy. So I don't know,
Mine
man.
are slugs. Mine are 25 cal slugs. And
Yeah,
dude, they hit birds like the hammer of freaking Thor. You can hear them just flop. It sounds like a freight train hitting them. It's fun as heck. But yeah, mine are 25 cal slugs, and at 100 yards, it's printing sub half minute groups, and I'm
yeah,
getting SDs of like 1 or 2.
one. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're
crazy how
cool.
consistent it is.
But yeah, so that's something cool coming out from them. Every year they've got some. I did a post a while back, or I think it was last year, the year before, on a bow or on a fishing setup, the hook to your FX. So you shot the arrow out of your air gun, and you can shoot fish with it, and then you just reel them in with the air gun. I've got to go freaking do that. That's what I
That sounds
need.
pretty fun.
Dude, that one's, yeah, that I keep watching him do it. And then he does a trip every year down with that iguana cowboy,
Oh
in
yeah, yeah.
and they shoot iguanas like they're walking through people's backyards shooting iguanas out of trees and stuff because they're so invasive, like they're everywhere.
Yes,
So they're down there just slaying them, and I'm like, gosh dang it, I gotta go to that. That looks so freaking fun.
it does look fun.
Hmm. Yeah,
I definitely
but
watched one of those videos on YouTube a while back, and the wife was like, What are they doing?" I was like, "It's iguanas. They're pests. They need to be controlled."
oh, they're
Well, why are
horrible.
they shooting them? I was like, "Well, how else are you gonna do it?"
Yeah. Yeah, and then he's got his dog that goes over and retrieves them and brings them back like a
Yeah,
bird. And I'm like, dude, he's got such a cool setup down there. But they do that, and then they do a prairie dog shoot here in Utah with them every spring. And I'm like, dude, we got to go do that. I
that
just need
sounds
to
pretty
find.
fun.
If you're listening and you're in the Utah area and you're really good at videography, hit me up because I've got photographers, I got everything else. I need a videographer bad that I can hire part time to do a bunch of stuff for us. So if you're listening and you know somebody that knows somebody, let me know because we need it.
Yeah,
Um, well, this was a good BS session. We were going to hit something else, but we'll record it next session. We were going to have the guys from Huxworks on today, but we had some conflicting stuff going on. One of the next ones we're going to have is Austin Orgain from, he just started Precision Rifle Barrels. He bought out Hawk Hill. So it's going to be good to talk to him and see, kind of his growing pains and everything. And I haven't
yes.
really, I haven't really heard any feedback. I've seen people building with his barrels, but I haven't heard any feedback on them. So,
Well, the few posts that I've seen have been really really good, like really positive. I mean, so I don't think it's a buyer beware situation at all. And Austin is, I don't know, he's he's nothing short of a genius himself. Like, he's a super smart guy, and his attention to detail is ridiculous. I mean, that's one of the top shooters, and that takes a certain level of concentration and attention to detail. So I imagine what he puts out is going to be pretty damn good. So
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the growing pain is, the difference between how many can I build, and then, that's everybody's issues. How many can I build good before I start expanding and getting more machines and
yeah,
quality control and everything else that comes with it. But yeah, we're going to have him on. We're going to start doing a lot more podcasts. So make sure if you're listening to subscribe to it, give us feedback, give us a review. We appreciate all those reviews. And, we're going to try and do these, more often. Our sponsors kind of beat me up at SHOT Show and yelled at me, and I apologized. And so we've got to get that going. Optics Planet, everybody else, everybody's chomping at the bit for us to do stuff with them, and we just got to make it happen. We're just so dang busy, but we're getting there. So we appreciate y'all for listening. Until next time, you know, reach out, follow us. One of the big things that I need y'all to do is Long Range Tactics Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And then we do have the Long Range Tactics official group, which is the group where everybody is. There's about 30,000 people in there. Go in there, ask questions. Matt, the rest of the team are on there talking all the time. So go check it out. Anyway, thanks for listening. Until next time, get out there and shoot. All right. So let me end that one.